If you thought Barney was something, what about these little four birds with shapes and a TV on their stomach that don't say nothing? It's not a lick of substance to this Teletubby show at all, but I proceed to say my mama left me in the little baby chair in front of the TV with this plan. And the only thing made me happy is when the baby son come out, because the baby son looked just like me. And then you would think it was the son a baby, but you know how they hide stuff in these movies, but you would never thought they hid nothing in a kid show that they don't say nothing but la la ba ba and boo boo. Shapes. They live on good green grass. And the tube come out and say, time for y'all to go home, but that voice don't speak in la la boo boo. It speaks in human voices. I got questions. Who made this up? What was the idea behind this? The shapes, the colors, and why did they only make this for 1-year-old babies? See, they gotta find something to distract each level of human. I'm gonna put it that way. From 1 to 5, from 5 to 10, to 10 to 15. It's a distraction and a different cartoon and a different thing you will be entering when you turn a certain age. But at 1 years old, when I was younger, they put Teletubbies in the face. Lord, we gonna have to, yes, and yeah, I know I did it. I don't even know how I did it, but I was just thinking it, and you know, once you think it pop up in the algorithm. I said, what's this? And there was some dude talking about the Teletubbies on the same little ideas I was thinking. I said, you know what? Might as well show him some love and let him break it down too. But what is the point of Teletubbies? Where do they live at? Why, when the surround thing come, you know, wherever you live at, it's a big old noise that everybody can hear the tornado warnings, tell you when to go in or testing. That be in the earth sound like, why on Teletubbies it come out the ground? It's a lot of things you should think of when you with your childhood shows and TVs. You should go back and do a little digging. But if you not, I'm glad you stopped her. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Test your mind, trust your might, test your mind. That pancake the same way, whichever way you want to flip it, understand me? But let's proceed to dig in these little Teletubbies that's only meant for 1-year-old babies. And I hope y'all can peep where the distraction is, what the distraction is, and y'all can break down everything. And if you can't, best believe I got you. But I think my boy summed it up in a nutshell. You understand me? So without further ado, let's dig.
Test your might.
What if the sun was a baby? It's possible I went a little too far with this video. Teletubbies is essentially just jingly keys to distract babies. It's not like Blue's Clues or Magic School Bus where there is some semblance of a plot or conflict. Teletubbies is just kind of nothing. There is no substance to this show, which is understandable because it was made for literally 1-year-old babies.
Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba.
I will now try and describe the plot of this show. Teletubbies are these weird-looking alien baby things that live in a bunker in Teletubby land, and they just kind of walk around doing nothing until a creepy speaker slowly comes out of the ground and tells them what to do.
Time for Tubby bye-bye. Time for Tubby bye-bye.
And there is also this giant sun baby thing that is constantly watching and laughing at them. And there is also a windmill that sends videos to their stomachs of just some random kids also kind of doing nothing for like 5 minutes.
Playing on the beach.
And it is so boring and by far the worst part of this show. And then when they're finally done with it, they literally just watch the exact same video again.
Again.
Because all this show is trying to do is just waste time distracting babies with jingly keys for as long as humanly possible. And I have watched so much Teletubbies for this video, and I hate it. Also, there's a vacuum cleaner named Nunu that looks like he's constantly in pain. Nunu is my favorite character because I can relate to him. Is Teletubby Land.
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
It looks like Earth with the nature and rabbits, but we never actually see any humans. For all we know, this could be some distant alien planet or magical alternate dimension. But we know Teletubbies do have some kind of connection to humanity. The weird speakers are constantly telling them to do human things, and they are constantly being sent videos of human children in the real world.
Hi, I'm Romy. Let's make some bagels.
And I feel like the intro at the start of every episode does imply that Teletubby Land is on Earth somewhere.
Over the hills and far away.
Over the hills and far away. They are telling us where the show takes place in relation to us, the viewer. And to get there, we need to go over the hills that are in our way, as opposed to like going through space or a magical portal. Meaning Teletubby Land is likely on Earth. But this doesn't make sense, because Teletubby Land has a weird sentient baby face sun, but in the human videos, we can see that they just have a regular normal sun with no face. So if they're both supposed to be on Earth, then why is the sun different? Well, maybe it's not a question of where Teletubby Land is, but when. What if Teletubbies takes place on Earth in the future sometime after the normal sun somehow grew a baby face? And if that sounds far-fetched, then take a closer look at these human videos. Now, in most kids' educational shows, these types of segments are like Blue's Clues, where Steve gets sent mail from children who are fans of the show and say, "Hi Steve, I love Blue's Clues!"
Look, it's a letter from our friends.
Hi, Steve. Let's go see my classroom.
But in all 485 episodes of both the original and 2015 revival of Teletubbies, not once do the children ever acknowledge the fact that these videos are being sent to Teletubbies.
Hello, my name's Daniel. Hello, I'm Stephanie.
They never even say the word Teletubby, which feels like a very weird, deliberate choice. For all intents and purposes, these are just random videos of humanity that could have been made long before Teletubbies ever even existed. And this all gets a lot more interesting when we take a look at the most recent Netflix Teletubbies reboot from 2022.
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
Time for Teletubbies.
This reboot makes a couple very interesting changes to the show, one of them being to the human video segments.
Oh, Dipsy. Hi. Hi there. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Instead of just a couple random kids out in the world, these videos now take place inside of a single reoccurring location, with a woman named Julia who sings a song with a group of different children every episode.
You are a rocket, a super fast rocket, then run and touch a star.
And what's immediately different about these videos is that for the first time ever in the 27 years of this show airing, there actually is a direct acknowledgement of Teletubbies from a human being. Julia's shirt clearly shows the 4 Teletubby heads, meaning these videos in particular are not from the past. They are being made explicitly for Teletubbies to watch, and the humans in these videos exist at the same time as the show, which obviously begs the question, what does the sun look like for these humans? Well, here's the strange thing about these new videos. We never get to see the sun. In fact, the kids in these videos never actually go outside, which is very strange when you compare that to the years worth of previous human videos that are almost always outside. There does seem to be windows, but unlike the windows we see in previous videos or even in Teletubby Land, these are weirdly opaque, never actually showing us the outside world. The best we get is this obviously fake depiction of the sky on the ceiling. For some reason, these videos feel completely cut off from the outside world. Where are these people? Hang on a second. What if over the hills doesn't mean Teletubby Land is behind hills? What if Teletubby Land is literally over the hills, as in on top of them, and this room is somewhere deep underground, completely cut off from the outside world? And if that seems too far-fetched, remember where the speakers come from.
Time for Tubby Bye-Bye. Time for Tubby Bye-Bye.
They come from underground. The speakers with a human adult voice telling the Teletubbies what to do come from the same place where an adult woman wearing a Teletubby uniform makes videos. In the future world of Teletubbies, humanity lives underground. But why? Well, once again, I think this all has to do with the sun. Imagine a world where everything is normal. You go to work, walk your dog, watch YouTube videos, but then, one day, suddenly, without any warning or explanation, the sun wakes up. You realize that the giant ball of gas in the sky that gave humanity life was actually a cosmic sentient being all along. But it's not some unknowable Lovecraftian Cthulhu entity. It's just a baby. Okay, that's disturbing, but so what? Well, our sun is already extremely volatile, constantly exploding and erupting with unstable solar flares that can release dangerous radiation towards Earth. Scientists even believe that we could be hit with a solar superstorm one day that could be devastating to human infrastructure. Now, imagine if all of that power was given to an unpredictable, moody baby. A baby that we know is very interested in watching and reacting to the denizens of Earth.
Ba, 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 ba.
In fact, we could even see that when the baby sun gets a little too excited, the brightness of the sun suddenly increases. So, when this baby first wakes up and opens its eyes and looks down at the people of Earth, what would it see? That baby would immediately throw a massive tantrum. So if humanity went underground after this baby showed up, then I think it's because this baby had some kind of catastrophic effect on the Earth, making the surface completely uninhabitable for humans. And if you don't believe me yet, remember those drawings of a smiling sun we kept seeing in the new videos? Well, there actually is just a single episode of the reboot that shows a drawing of a sun without a face. But what's interesting is that it also shows people and a car and maybe even a police officer below the sun. Unlike the drawings with the smiling sun that only ever show grass and flowers and no signs of humanity, just like Teletubby Land. These drawings are telling us that when the smiling baby sun came out, humanity disappeared. Yes, I believe that Teletubbies is set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity was forced underground because the baby sun woke up. But then, what exactly are these weird creatures we see on the surface? Well, even if humanity could survive underground forever, the sentient baby sun is still up there. If they're ever gonna reclaim the surface world, or even just prevent an even bigger world-destroying tantrum, they need to address this problem. So, how do you appease an unpredictable, moody baby with unlimited power? You jingle keys in front of them. The humans created Teletubbies, 4 creatures that could withstand the dangers of the sun, and sent them to the uninhabitable surface to keep the baby sun entertained and calm for as long as possible. Teletubbies literally is jingly keys for a baby! Every episode starts and ends with this baby. They are constantly cutting back to the sun's reaction every time the Teletubbies do something. Because the sun is the intended audience for this show. It's why everything the Teletubbies do is so heavily controlled by unseen humans.
Poe showed Lala the tutor.
Show Lala. Show Lala.
This dumb baby show is actually a very high-stakes operation to protect what little remains of humanity. And if you still don't believe me, then let me ask you this. What are Teletubbies? They're weird, big baby things that seem to have technology integrated into their bodies. But let's ask the creators of this show, what was the initial idea behind Teletubbies?
We decided we'd go to the Smithsonian and we saw the actual spacesuits of men who'd not that long ago walked on the moon. You know, isn't it amazing? There's all this technology and you look at them and they just look like babies with nappies on toddling about.
And they were basically NASA spacemen. They were very easily surprised by things and fell over all the time, and when they were worried about things, they hugged each other.
They were based on astronauts, aka people sent by humanity in technological suits designed to withstand inhospitable environments. Once you compare moon landing footage to Teletubbies, you can never unsee it.
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
Tinky Winky,
Tinky Winky.
Dipsy, La La,
Lala.
Poe,
Oh.
Teletubbies,
Teletubbies.
say hello.
And this is only the tip of the iceberg. Once you start viewing the show through this lens, everything that once seemed like weird, pointless nonsense suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. The Teletubbies live in a bunker-type structure beneath a hill, a shelter designed specifically to survive a harsh environment. The Teletubbies are surrounded by advanced technology that obviously these dumb baby creatures didn't make. The technology was made by humans to take care of and control their creations. The windmill obviously functions as some kind of signal tower to receive videos from the underground humans. But it also works as a form of renewable energy in this world without any functioning human infrastructure. Teletubby Land itself is covered in plants, the only form of life that would be able to adapt and thrive in harsh sunlight. The Teletubby shelter has been completely covered in grass, and we see flowers suddenly popping up all the time.
It was a really big flower.
Clearly, plants are thriving in this new sun baby world. Okay, but what about the rabbits? Why are they the only animal we see on the surface? It's not like rabbits are especially resilient to sunlight. Well, what are rabbits known for? Firstly, they are extremely fast breeders. They would be the perfect species to send to the surface to quickly repopulate the Earth's ecosystem. In fact, they are such fast breeders that apparently the crew filming the show kept having to pause the shoot because the rabbits kept having sex in the background. And secondly, rabbits are also commonly used by humans for laboratory testing and genetic modification. So maybe, much like the Teletubbies, these rabbits were genetically modified by humans to survive the surface world. This theory wraps up a lot of loose ends about the original show. But once again, the 2022 Netflix Teletubbies reboot has some very interesting differences, and this is where things get a little more disturbing. So the new Teletubbies reboot has 3 very interesting changes. First, as I've already explained, the human videos are now with Julia in a post-Teletubby world. They no longer just show old random videos of humanity. Suddenly, everything is now custom-made for the Teletubbies. Second, there are now Teletubbies in the bunker. These horrifying CGI monstrosities are new baby Teletubbies that just exist now with no explanation. And finally, the strangest change of all. Every episode, the baby son has a completely new face. Why? What does this mean? All of these changes are so sudden and random, and none of them really fit into my theory. You guys don't understand. I have watched hours and hours of this extremely boring baby show to try and make sense of this, and I almost gave up. But then, I finally found a single episode of Teletubbies that changed my entire view of this universe. Episode 56 of the 2015 revival called Twinkle, Twinkle. In this single episode, for the first and only time in the over 500 episodes of Teletubby canon, it becomes night, and we watch the Teletubbies leave their bunker and look up at the night sky.
Tinky Winky saw a star.
Tinky Winky star!
The star was making music.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Tinky Winky discovers a star that is singing to him, and for me, this implies 3 things. First, there are other sentient stars out there. It's not just our sun. For all we know, all stars in this universe could actually be sentient. And second, the star has an adult voice. So this is likely what our baby sun will one day grow into. And finally, the most unsettling implication here is that other stars have begun to notice the Teletubbies. And suddenly, the 2022 reboot makes a lot more sense. Humanity's plan to use Teletubbies to entertain the cosmic horror baby sun worked, but it worked a little too well, because now they've started attracting other baby suns. This is a whole new problem for humanity, and 4 Teletubbies is not enough to appease all of these sun babies, which is why they've suddenly begun to create more. Suddenly, just watching old videos of humanity isn't enough. The humans below the earth have to custom make higher quality videos with more children to keep the babies entertained. Humans are so desperate to meet the demands of all of these new sun babies that they are willing to do anything to appease them.
Just wait till you hear me say the words blast off, then run and touch a star.
Wait a second. Why would they be teaching children to touch the stars?
Then run and touch a star.
Wouldn't that be like the last thing they'd want to tell children to do? The whole reason they're down here is because of how dangerous stars are, right? Unless they're preparing these children to go to the surface? Wait, are these kids the Teletubbies? Is this where Teletubbies come from? They've been human children the whole time? No! So yeah, that is my theory. Teletubbies is actually a post-apocalypse where humans live underground and are turning children into Teletubbies and sending them to the surface to entertain giant sun baby gods.